Hey guys, welcome back to Jowers Technology Solutions. So it's been basically over a month since I've uploaded a video, and I've noticed that a lot more of you have subscribed to my channel, so I really do appreciate that. I think I'm going to kick off this this video with saying that I've been really busy. That's why I haven't uploaded anything new, but I do appreciate all the support I'm getting, and I hope that y'all are finding these videos educational, or just, you know, whether you're setting up a lab or if you're working for a company or whatever. I'm glad, and I hope that these videos are helping. So what we're going to do today is jump into Zabbix, and for those that don't know, you can look it up on their website. Zabbix is basically a centralized resource monitoring tool that you can use. And so you can go read about it on their website if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into the configuration because I know that everybody likes, you know, skipping past all the fluff and just getting straight to the technical stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So after you've downloaded the ISO, or they also have a VMX image, and they also have one for Hyper-V, and they also have an appliance that you can download or whatever. What I did was I downloaded the ISO and I booted straight off of it in my ESXi host. And once it installs the image, then you come up to this login prompt, so we're going to proceed from there. So usually, for those that don't know, if you're coming up to the console, the username is going to be root, and then usually the password is Zabbix, all lowercase, but I've already changed my password for this. So I'm going to go and type in the password, and then this is what you'll get. And right here it says the front end credentials will be admin and Zabbix, and so it automatically tells you. So if you don't know and you don't want to go digging, it's right there. And then there's some other literature right there if you want to read it. And then also it says look at the time zone, because usually it's in UTC, not your regular time zone. Mine would be Eastern Standard Time, so we can look at that if we get to that point. But anywho, so what I want to do is I want to get to the point where I can just SSH in from afar instead of having to sit in front of a console. So I'm going to type in IP adder, and it's going to say I got an address of 10.111.101, and so I know that. I'm going to go ahead and exit this part. And I'm going to jump over to my lab server. I'm already in there on here. See if it, I might have to, yeah, I'm going to have to actually change the IP address. So it was 80 and then it switched to 101 for some reason. But anyway, so I'm going to skip back to that. Again, it's going to be admin, and then you're going to come down here and type in your password. And then bam, you're in there. Alright, so this is what you're first going to see when you log in. Looks weird, intimidating a little bit, but it's not that hard, I promise. So the first thing you're going to do is notice that you have a dashboard here, and then based on how you set things up, you'll have stuff that says it's available or unknown, and then here's all your basic stuff about your Zabbix server. And so what I'm going to do is going to jump straight into adding stuff, that way you can see it and see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is come down to configuration and then go to hosts. Alright, so the first thing you see right here is your Zabbix server. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hop over to the actual website. I'm going to type in download Zabbix Windows Agent. I might already have it downloaded from earlier. Okay, I do. So right here it says 508, but what you would normally do is go to download Zabbix Agents, and then you would go to the Zabbix Agents on the far right, and then you would pick your distro, which version you want, what hardware you're on, your Zabbix version. You can choose to do encryption between your client or your agent and the server, or you can choose not to. I mean, it's up to you. Depending on what kind of hardware you have, or you know, routing or switching you have, with what they can handle. Remember that encryption eats up more processing power, because you got to encrypt and decrypt, you know, from end to end. Whenever it goes over the network. So just keep that in mind. I don't normally do it. If it was a super secure environment, then yes, I would, but in this case I'm not going to. So what I did earlier is I chose the 50 LTS and then the MSI, and then excuse me. And on one of these it was actually only archive unless the web page didn't load correctly the last time. But anyway, so I'm gonna go back to what I already have downloaded. I'm gonna go ahead and run it. Hit next. And this is for Windows, obviously, for those that aren't looking at the screen. I'll go ahead and hit accept, next. Alright, so here's the host name. I'm going to go ahead and make mine lab server 2012. And then I'm going to type in my, excuse me, the IP address of the actual server. And then I'm going to copy that and put it in the active server checks, or server active checks. And again, you can check this off or not. I'm not going to right now. Something we might run into here is this port, and I'll get to that probably here soon. So let's go ahead and hit next, and then hit next, and then hit install. All right, so once that installs, we're good on the client side as far as the agent goes. So what you're going to do next is type in CMD or PowerShell if you want, and then type in ipconfig, and then we have a 10.1166. So let's hop back over here to the GUI for this, and then we're gonna, in the top right hand corner, we're gonna type in create host, and then in this instance we're gonna say we want the host name to be lab server 2, and that will kind of ghost print your visible name. And then we're gonna hit select on this, and then we're going to use let's go ahead and use operating systems for now, and we're gonna add, and then we're gonna type agent, and then do 10.0.1.1.66, and then here's the important part. So here's a thing that you can look at. You can put the ICMP template on there, and it will tell you if the server tries to ping something more than 3 times unsuccessfully, you'll get a warning in the server saying that, hey, it can't be pinged. You can do that if you want to. The only issue with that is, depending on what kind of hardware you have, as to whether or not it can process it well, because the server is constantly sending pings over the network to whatever agent you have configured that way. So if you have several machines, that's going to be a lot of traffic, and so you can choose to leave it on ICMP on something critical, because if you lose network connectivity, you want to know pretty quickly. Or you can just put the agent on there, and after I think you can specify, but after a certain amount of time, you'll get a basically get a warning message that the Zabbix agent can't be reached, which is another way of saying, hey, it might be down. So for right now, I'm just going to do win, and I'm going to hit the Windows agent, and I'm going to add. Alright, so since all these guys are on the same network, then I don't have to worry about putting in firewall rules or anything like that. I already have my firewall rules set up to where anything coming from this basically this subnet can get back to the subnet. And so give this just a minute, and this is going to light up green. Oh, go to the hosts, and bam. Okay, there we go. So see, it's already lit up green right there, and it's tagging over that port that we were looking at a moment ago. So here's the beauty of it. I'm gonna go under graphs, and in just a moment it will start showing you all these different little basically little categories for this agent. Let's see here. We should start seeing something here in just a minute. And I'm going to show you another thing on the dashboard. So if you come up to the dashboard, you'll see this says available to. That's because it's recognizing it as a Zabbix agent, so it's putting in the account number 2 right there. Okay, there we go. So now we're starting to see a little green line, and over the next little bit, you'll see that line start going all the way across. So right now we're not seeing any traffic come across this interface for some reason. Not sure why at the moment. It maybe just hasn't got the information over yet. But as you look at this, you'll see different different resources you can monitor from the server itself. All right. Anyway, so moving on from that, another thing that you can look at is over time you might have a problem on your server, and that's where you can come look at problems. If you have an issue, it's going to pop up here. And I'm hoping it'll produce an issue so that you can see what's going on. So next we're going to go ahead and do a Ubuntu server, and so that way you can see the agent being installed on that as well. Go back to host and create host. And I'm going to hop over to my Ubuntu server and log in it really quick. Alright, so we see this guy has an IP address of 10.1.1.100. So I'm going to hop back to my lab server 2012, and I'm going to tear SSH to it. Alright guys, so I already have a file that's pre-written up with basically all of the little lines to put in there to install it. So I'm going to type in hostname to make sure I have the right version. And I have 2004, perfect. Alright, so I'm going to go off screen really quick. And I'm going to pull that file over here. Give me 1 second. Alright, there we go. I'll pop back out of there. So this is basically what you're going to use to install the Zabbix agent. And there's different ways to put in for different versions of Zabbix, or excuse me, of Ubuntu in this case. And so I'm going to go ahead and install this and show you how it's done. So you're going to go ahead and hit apt-get update. I can type right, there we go. And it's basically copy and paste in this situation. Alright, now I'm just going to follow it exactly as I see it. So I'm going to just Control-C it and paste it over there into TerraTerm. It's a little off screen. There we go. Alright guys, in this case I'm using Nano instead of V or any other text editor you might want to think of, but it's just the easiest for me, so that's what I use. So you're going to nano straight into the zabbixagentd.conf, and you're going to edit the IP address and the host name. So in this case, mine's going to be 10.1.1.101. And same thing with the server active. And then another thing you can add in there is the host name, and I gotta go look at my host name because I can't remember it. I think it's just appliance. Yeah, it's just appliance. If you wanna go the extra mile, type in a host name. Yep, it's just called appliance. So I'm gonna put that in there. Alright, so that's been added, and I'm gonna go ahead and do the enable it. Alright, so it says it can't open the PID file, so we're going to give it just a moment. I'm going to restart it, and I'm also going to enable the host firewall. Alright, and some of you guys might want to use Firewall D, or you can use UFW, whichever one you prefer. With Ubuntu, I've been using UFW more. I guess it's your preference. So let's go ahead and do UFW status. It's going to tell me it's not active, so I'm going to do UFW enable, and then yes. And then we're going to type in UFW. Make sure you put your SSH connection back in there, because once you hop out, it will not let you back in unless port 22 is open. So do allow 22/TC or /TCP, and then go ahead and add in that port that we were talking about for Zabbix a moment ago, which is 10,050. And I think that's all the ports we need for now. So I'm going to do a UFW reload. Alright, so now let's go ahead and do an IP adder really quick. Alright, so this guy's a .10.11.100. So I'm going to hop back over here, and I'm going to do a lab Ubuntu. And for this guy, we're going to do Linux servers as well as operating systems. And we're going to type in 10.1.1.100, and then go here to templates, and then we're going to type in Linux, and then choose Linux by Zabbix agent. And again, you can add the ICMP if you want to, but that's up to you. For now, I'm not going to do it. So click add on that, and then in just a moment you'll see this guy turn green. And depending on what templates you use, you might get different graphics that you can look at. So this is again the lab server. So see that network traffic finally kicked in. I'm gonna look at it over the last 15 minutes. So you can see right here that it was up pretty high and then it dipped back down. And you can see the CPU jump, CPU usage. All this is great stuff for looking at things centrally. And in a moment, I'll show you the map that you can do. So let's go back to the host and see if my other one popped up. So it did. So there's my Ubuntu right there. I'm gonna go ahead and click graphs on it. And it's basically the same stuff, but for Linux instead, or Ubuntu in this case. So here in a moment, you'll start seeing this stuff populate. So you got some right there and some right there. And I think I put it back on 15. I'll put it back on 5. That way you can see a little more. Okay, yeah. So again, all this stuff will start to populate as you move along, and once you start doing something more resource intensive, all this stuff will start jumping up more and more. Okay, so this is how to get Linux or Windows into the graphics, so you can start seeing graphics, and eventually you'll probably start to see if you're a production environment, you're going to start to see problems pop up, either because the service isn't started, or I've even seen the Wi-Fi, like somebody that has a laptop that you have Zabbix installed on, they'll be walking through a building and then they'll swap APs walking through the building, and you'll see where the Zabbix is swapped to a lower bandwidth or whatever. So you have to really tune what you want to see and what you don't want to see. Of course, you don't want to see a bunch of minor crap that doesn't matter. But if a server goes down, or if a server is using 100% CPU for 15 minutes straight, then you want to know things like that. Alright, so anyway, now I'm going to jump over to the maps, because the maps is what everybody loves to look at. It's always fun. So let's look at the properties. I'm going to change this to 1500 by 1500 so we can see more. I'm going to go ahead and click update, and then click local network, and then now so here's our Zabbix server already sitting there. We're going to hit edit map. I'm going to drag him down a little bit. It's 50 by 50. I'm going to do 20 by 20 so I can make the square smaller. So here's what you do. You hit add, and then you drag this down here. Click on it, and then you do host. And then we're going to say lab, we'll do Ubuntu first. And I'll hit select, and then let's see, here's the operating system. So we're going to click on Ubuntu. And I'm going to downside. Well, actually, so here's the thing. If you have a large network that you're monitoring with this thing, then you want to have small icons just so you can keep everything straight. If you have something like this, it can be big icons. So I'm going to leave that at 96 right now, and just hit apply. And also, if you want to basically keep your map kind of logically straight, you can click on this and click on the server and click add link, hit apply, hit close. And whenever you save this, that link will stay there, and then you can kind of see how things are logically connected. So I'm going to go ahead and click add again, bring this guy over here, and I'm going to click host, lab server 2012, and then it's already listed under under that host group. So I'm going to go ahead and click lab server 2012 there, and click apply, and then we're going to click on that guy too, and then hit add link, apply again, close, and then click update. Bam. Alright, so it's going to kick you out. Just click back in there, and now you have a map of your network basically. And what will happen is whenever, like I said, in a production environment, these guys will light up orange or red or whatever case for whatever type of warning or issue you might have going on in there. And I'm going to add more agents in there to kind of see what's going on. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it off here for now because I know this video's already kind of gone on a little bit. This is how you get your basically get your Zabbix server started. How you add a Linux agent and a Windows agent, and like I said, this was a production environment. You will start seeing things go on very quickly. I have I think I have 4 or 5 of these set up now, and I've got problems every single day. So whether, like I said, whether it be something minor where a service isn't running, or something major where something might go down. So anyway, guys, keep that in mind. Thank you all for watching the video, and again, I'm going to make more videos. It's just been a busy month. So guys, thank you all. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, like it if you want to, and y'all have a great night. Thanks.